The text message came 3 days before Christmas, casual and cruel in its brevity. Hi, Zara. After discussion with the family, we've decided Christmas dinner will be immediate family only this year. Nothing personal, just keeping it small. Hope you understand. XO. I stared at my phone, reading it 3 times to make sure I understood correctly. I'd been married to her son for 4 years. We had a 2-year-old daughter. I'd attended every Whitfield family Christmas since we started dating 7 years ago. And now I was being uninvited because I don't fit in. My husband, Everett, was in the shower. I could hear the water running, oblivious to the bomb his mother had just dropped. I sat on our bed, hands shaking, and typed out a reply. I'm confused. I'm married to your son. I'm the mother of your granddaughter. How am I not immediate family? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Let's not make this difficult, dear. The family has spoken. Everett and little Amelie are welcome, of course. You can have a quiet day at home. Maybe it's for the best. For the best. I set down my phone and looked around our bedroom. The custom built-ins I'd designed, the crown molding I'd personally selected, the bay window that overlooked 3 acres of pristine Connecticut property. Cordelia Whitfield thought she was hosting Christmas dinner in the family estate. What she didn't know was that I owned this house, every brick, every beam, every square inch. And I was about to teach the Whitfield family a lesson about immediate family. Let me tell you about the Whitfields and why they decided I didn't fit in. The Whitfields were old money Connecticut, not billionaires, but comfortable in that assured way that comes from generations of never worrying about money. They had connections, country club memberships, and a family tree that apparently mattered. Cordelia Whitfield ran the family like a corporation. She decided where holidays were held, who was invited, what was appropriate. Her husband, Sterling, was quieter but just as particular about bloodlines and propriety. They had 3 children, Everett, my husband, his older sister Lennox, and his younger brother Dashiell, all raised with the same values: appearances matter, maintain the family reputation, marry well. Everett had gone off script by marrying me. My name is Zara Okafor. My parents immigrated from Nigeria when I was 3. My father was a chemical engineer, my mother a pharmacist. We lived comfortably, but we weren't Whitfield comfortable. We didn't have a family estate, or trust funds, or ancestors who came over on the Mayflower. When Everett brought me home to meet his parents 7 years ago, Cordelia's smile had frozen on her face. "Oh," she'd said, her eyes scanning me from head to toe, "Everett mentioned you were exotic." Exotic. That was her word for black. Over the years, she'd made her disapproval clear in 1,000 small ways. Comments about my hair, so dramatic. Questions about whether I spoke other languages at home. Surprise that I had a real career in architecture. Concerns about what Amelie would look like. Mixed children are so unpredictable. But she was always careful, always plausibly deniable, never quite crossing the line into something Everett could call out. The rest of the family took their cues from Cordelia. Lennox was coldly polite. Dashiell barely acknowledged my existence. Sterling treated me like expensive furniture, present but not particularly interesting. Every family gathering felt like an endurance test. Everett would tell me I was being sensitive when I pointed out microaggressions. "That's just how they are," he'd say. "They're from a different generation." I'd tolerated it for 7 years because I loved Everett and because our life together was good. We'd built something separate from his family. Or so I thought. Here's what the Whitfield family didn't know about the house where they'd been hosting Christmas for the past 3 years. When Everett and I got married, we lived in a small apartment in Manhattan. It was fine, but cramped. When I got pregnant with Amelie, we started looking for more space. The Whitfields suggested we move to Connecticut, closer to the family. They found a beautiful property, historic house, 3 acres in an exclusive neighborhood near their own home. The family can help with the down payment. Consider it our wedding gift, a bit delayed, Cordelia offered. Everett was thrilled. I was skeptical, but agreed to look at it. The house was stunning. 1920s colonial, original details, mature trees. But it needed work, significant work. The asking price was $1.2 million. The family can loan you the money. Keep it in the family. Avoid bank bureaucracy. You pay us back over time, no interest. Red flags everywhere. I'd seen enough family dynamics to know that family loans come with strings. I said, let me think about it. That night, I called my parents. My father, always cautious with money, surprised me. "How much do you have saved?" he asked. "About $200,000, but I need that for—" "Zara, listen to me. Your mother and I have been saving for your future. We have $800,000 we can give you now. Buy the house outright. No loans, no strings." I cried. Then I talked to Everett. "My parents want to help us buy the house. We can pay cash, avoid the family loan." Everett frowned. "But my parents are offering—" "I know, but I'd feel more comfortable this way. Please." He reluctantly agreed, probably to avoid conflict. We bought the house in my name only, my savings plus my parents' gift. Everett was on the mortgage for tax purposes initially, but when we refinanced, I removed him. The house was 100% mine. Everett didn't think much of it. He wasn't interested in financial details. His name was on our joint checking account. That was enough. But I remembered my father's words. Never be financially dependent on people who don't respect you. I'd renovated the house myself, using my architecture background. I designed every detail, hired every contractor, made every decision. Cordelia had occasionally offered suggestions, all of which I'd politely ignored. "It's such a shame you're doing it yourself, dear. The family has used the same decorator for generations." "I am a professional architect, Cordelia. I think I can handle it." Her smile had been ice. For 3 years, the Whitfields had treated my house as the new family estate. Cordelia hosted Christmas dinners here, Easter brunches, summer gatherings, always taking credit for the venue, never acknowledging whose house it was. "The family home looks lovely for Christmas," she'd say to guests, as if it were hers. I'd let it slide because Everett wanted his family around, because it seemed petty to correct her, because I was trying to keep the peace. That ended with her text message. Everett came out of the shower, toweling his hair, oblivious. "What's for dinner?" he asked. "Your mother uninvited me from Christmas." He froze. "What?" I handed him my phone, watched his face as he read the messages. She can't be serious." "She's serious. Read the last part. You and Amelie are invited. I'm not." He sat down heavily on the bed. "This is insane. I'll call her right now." "Wait." I took the phone back. "Before you call her, I need to know something. What did she mean by 'the family has spoken'? Did you know about this?" "What? No, of course not." "Because I'm trying to understand how your entire family decided to exclude me from Christmas without you knowing." I swear, Zara, I had no idea. I wanted to believe him, but there was something in his face, a flicker of something that made me pause. "Everett, did they talk to you about this?" Silence. "Everett. Okay, look, Lennox mentioned something last week about how Christmas was getting too big, too chaotic with all the extended family. She suggested keeping it just the core family this year. I didn't think she meant you." "The core family, which I'm not part of." "I didn't think she meant you. You're my wife." "Did you tell her that? When she suggested excluding people, did you say, Zara is core family?" More silence. You said nothing. I thought she meant cousins, extended relatives. And when your mother texted me, where was your text? Where was your message saying, "This is unacceptable. Of course my wife is invited"? He looked miserable. I didn't know she'd texted you. I would've... Would you? Or would you have gone along with it to keep the peace? Would you have gone to Christmas without me? Zara, come on, you're being... Choose your next words very carefully, Everett. He closed his mouth. I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the property I owned, the property where his family was planning to gather for Christmas without me. Call your mother, I said. Tell her Christmas is canceled. What? You heard me. Call her. Tell her she can't host Christmas here. Here? What does this house have to do with everything? Because this house is mine, Everett, not ours, mine, in my name only. I bought it with my money and my parents' money. Your family has no claim to it whatsoever. His face went pale. But I thought... You thought what? That because your parents offered to loan us money they had some ownership? They don't. This is my house, and your mother isn't hosting anything here. Zara, let's not be rash. Rash? Your family just uninvited me from Christmas in my own house, and you're worried about being rash? What do you want me to do? I looked at him, this man I'd loved for 7 years, and wondered when he'd become so spineless. I want you to call your mother and tell her that if I'm not invited to Christmas, then Christmas doesn't happen here. Period. Everett called his mother. I could hear her voice through the phone, rising in pitch and volume as he explained the situation. What do you mean she owns the house? Don't be ridiculous, Everett. Family money went into that house. No, Mom. Zara bought it with her own money. You offered to loan us money. We declined. But we've been hosting there for years. Everyone thinks of it as the family home. It's not the family home. It's Zara's home, and she's my wife, which makes her immediate family, which means she's invited to Christmas or Christmas doesn't happen here. There was a long pause. Then, fine, we'll host at Lennox's house instead. You and Emily are still welcome. Mom, did you hear what I just said? Zara is my wife. And she's being unreasonable. We're trying to have a nice, traditional family Christmas. If she can't understand that... Traditional? You mean white? I was shocked. Everett had never said it that directly before. Cordelia's voice went cold. That's a disgusting accusation. Is it? Because Zara has been part of this family for 7 years, and you've never treated her like she belongs. And now you're uninviting her from Christmas because she doesn't fit in? What else could that possibly mean? It means she doesn't share our values. What values? Appearances? Bloodlines? The right last name? Everett's voice was shaking now. You know what? I'm done. If Zara isn't invited to Christmas, then Emily and I aren't coming either. Everett Sterling Whitfield, don't you dare... He hung up. We sat in silence for a moment, then his phone started ringing. Cordelia, Lennox, Dashiell, Sterling, all calling, all furious. He ignored them all. I'm sorry, he said finally. I should have stood up to them years ago. Yes, you should have. What do we do now? I thought about it. About 3 years of hosting their gatherings, tolerating their comments, trying to fit into a family that would never accept me. Now, I said, I make a phone call. I called my lawyer the next morning. Her name was Paloma Rodriguez, and she was excellent at property law. Paloma, I need to formally notify some people that they can't use my property anymore. Are they tenants? No. In-laws who've been treating my house like it's theirs. They've been hosting events here for 3 years. I want that to end. Have you given them permission? Verbal permission, yes, which I'm now revoking. Send them written notice, certified mail, state clearly that they no longer have permission to access or use your property. If they show up anyway, it's trespassing. I drafted the letter that afternoon. Dear Whitfield family, this letter serves as formal notification that you no longer have permission to access or use the property at 847 Thornwood Lane, Connecticut. This includes but is not limited to hosting gatherings, events, or entering the premises for any reason without explicit written permission from me. Any future access to this property without explicit written permission will be considered trespassing and will be reported to local authorities. Please make alternative arrangements for your upcoming Christmas gathering. Zara O'Coffer. I sent copies to Cordelia, Sterling, Lennox, and Dashiell. Certified mail. Signature required. They received them 2 days before Christmas. The phone calls were immediate and volcanic. I ignored them all. We spent Christmas morning quietly. Everett, Amelie, and me. We opened presents, made pancakes, watched Amelie play with her new toys. My phone buzzed constantly. Messages from the Whitfields, ranging from pleading to threatening. Cordelia, you're destroying this family. Lennox, this is unbelievably petty. Sterling, we had caterers scheduled for your address. Dashiell, you're proving exactly why you don't fit in. At noon, my doorbell rang. I checked the security camera. Cordelia, Sterling, and Dashiell stood on my porch, looking furious. Behind them, a catering van was parked in my driveway. I opened the door with the chain still on. You need to leave, I said calmly. You received my letter. You don't have permission to be here. Don't be ridiculous, Zara, Cordelia snapped. We have caterers. We have family coming. Stop this childish tantrum and let us in. No. This is family property. This is my property. My name on the deed. My money that bought it. You have no claim here. Sterling stepped forward. Zara, be reasonable. We've been planning this for weeks. And I've been part of this family for 7 years. Yet you uninvited me from Christmas because I don't fit in. Now you want to use my house anyway? No. We'll call the police, Dashiell threatened. Please do. I'd love to explain to them how you're trespassing on my property after receiving written notification to stay away. Cordelia's face was scarlet. You ungrateful! Careful, I said. My doorbell has a camera. Everything you say is being recorded. Behind them, guests were starting to arrive, family members looking confused as they saw the standoff on the porch. I suggest, I said clearly, that you tell your guests Christmas has been relocated because it's not happening here. Merry Christmas. I closed the door. The Whitfield family had to scramble to relocate Christmas dinner. From what I heard, they ended up at a restaurant that had a last-minute cancellation. It cost them 3 times what the catering would have cost, and the private room was cramped and nothing like the traditional family Christmas Cordelia had envisioned. Everett didn't go. He stayed home with Amelie and me. In January, Cordelia sent a formal apology letter, not handwritten but typed, and clearly lawyer-reviewed. She invited me to Easter. I declined. Everett has been going to therapy, working through years of family conditioning, learning to set boundaries. It's been hard, but he's trying. As for me, I've stopped trying to fit into a family that never wanted me to fit in the first place. My house is mine. My daughter knows she's loved. My husband is learning what loyalty means. And the Whitfields learned a valuable lesson. Never assume you know who owns what, and never uninvite someone from Christmas in their own house. If you've ever been excluded by in-laws who didn't know the whole story, share your experience below. And subscribe for more stories about boundaries, respect, and owning your power. Literally.